Yo, and welcome back to the Nice Try podcast. This is episode 2 of the Nice Try podcast, and this is episode 1 that is going to be uploaded onto YouTube, where you can all see us in our glory and splendor. Tonight, we have got a guest and a half, Mr. YouTube and Spotify phenomenon himself, Oldmansneaks. How are you, brother?
Hey, man, I wouldn't call me a phenomenon.
Hey,
Like 100 viewers or listeners, it's not really a phenomenon.
when you reach that first 100,000 followers, mate, remember those words that I just said.
Thanks. And thanks for having me on, man. Like I'm excited about this one.
No, it's a pleasure, mate. Absolute pleasure to have you. How you been anyway, mate?
Good. It's been a busy week. It's been a crazy month of pickups. I'm assuming it's the same your side as well.
It's been quiet my end.
Yeah, pretty much in our circle, I think is going crazy. I think I need to start laying down low a little bit. But yeah, I mean it's still fun.
Yeah, no, I pumped the brakes myself a little bit on pickups. Got the occasional few here and there, but pumped the brakes. Like we did our Melbourne sneaker meetup Saturday just gone, and I didn't buy a thing. So nothing sang to me, nothing jumped out. So I thought, well, why waste money on something that I don't necessarily want?
Well, that's the thing, right?
Yeah.
I think you've gotten to a point or a point in time in your collection wherein it's gotta sing to you when you pick up something. So
It does. And most shoes hum, but they don't sing. So anyway, mate, we'll start off with the tradition of our show. Your 3 favourite pickups of this year that don't have to be this year's release. What do we got?
cool. Okay. Well, I guess you know me as a person that doesn't really because I'm new, so most of my pickups are pretty much from this year as well. So I don't really have anything that's from a previous release. I do have one. In saying that though, this one I got at the start of the year, and I really love this one. It's the Saucony Food Fights.
Yep.
Nice. They're a really nice pair. It's basically like a what the Nike release, wherein it's a combination of different materials from different releases, wherein it's got the ramens, the bacons, the burgers, of all the previous Saucony food themed releases. And I got it on sale. I got it under retail, so that's always good.
It's always a win, mate. Always a win.
Yeah, and I wanted to pick up another pair to stock, but they ran out of my sizes when they went on another sale.
Yeah.
So that's number one.
Number one.
Yeah. Number 2, favorite for the year. It's fairly recent, and I won this off a raffle. Straight from the shop. The Ame Leon d'Or 911s.
Yeah, nice.
991s. Sorry, not 911s. 991s. They're really good. Like the materials, JP Kicks and Craze basically mentioned it's like his couch in terms of the leather quality. It's thick cut leather, and yes, it is somewhat like a couch leather kind of thing. I reckon if you worn this out, you creased it up, it's gonna look amazing. So it's one of those pairs that you just gotta keep wearing, and I needed a 991 because I've pretty much worn out my GR 991.
Mate, when we were in Melbourne on Saturday, the amount of New Balance and Saucony and whatnot that I actually picked up, and I now see your love for them. I respect your love for them. The materials on them, is it the 2002 Rs, or is that what they are?
Yeah, the 2002 Rs, yeah.
They are pristine. They are so nice. The materials on them, mate. Yeah, I've got a newfound respect on why you like them so much.
Yeah, and the thing is, right, the 2002 Rs are basically GRs.
Yeah,
This one that I've shown you are what you call the made New Balance, which is usually made in England or made in the US.
yeah,
So the material is another level above that, and the craftsmanship is just so you gotta get one in hand on of
yeah,
one of those made New Balances, and yeah, but the 2002 Rs they're really
yeah. The
good.
one
They're really good as well.
there was a pair that we saw there. I can't remember if they were New Balance or Saucony or whatever they were, but they had a brain on the back heel tab. They were
Ah,
they
yeah,
were
that was the A6 uplifting pack.
that's it. Yes,
That
that's
was
it.
really good.
They're
Yeah,
really nice. Yeah,
yeah,
really nice for a
yeah, yeah.
shoe
I
that
have, I have, I have both of them. The
yeah
gray one and the pink one. They're
the
really,
pink
really
one we
good.
saw.
They're
Yeah,
really good.
yeah,
Yeah, and they're available on retail. So I mean, if you're
yeah.
planning on picking something different, I would suggest getting the brown and pink one. Like I couldn't I yeah I can't suggest it anymore. Like it's really really good, really
Yeah.
good. And for my number one, which happens to be our number one from my last podcast episode, is the Ama Manier 2. I'm guessing you got your pair already as well.
No, still haven't. They're still in transit.
Okay. It's come on, it's really good. I
Yeah,
mean, it's a shame that we didn't have this last podcast episode, have it in hand, but it's 99. It's the Ama Manier 1 in two form in terms of like the materials.
yeah.
So I mean, if you have the Ama Manier 1, it's really good.
Yeah, I got to actually finally hold them in hand at Kicks TW on the weekend, and I said to him, I said that would have been my number one pick over the Unions any day of the week. But yeah,
Yeah. Like I have the Union 2s as well, and this one is it's just different. And the
yeah,
thing with Ama Manier, I know people are saying, well, you're just buying that, even if it's on the 2 and all of those things, it's just hype. But if you think about it, right, you're buying it because it's Ama Manier, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's
and
because
the
it's high
storyline behind
quality
Armam and
collab.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, I'm not ashamed of copying that, and I
yeah,
like it.
yeah, no, nice. And dude, all three
Yeah.
of
So
those,
those are the three top ones.
yeah, all three of those are fire pickups, man. Absolute fire pickups. Like I said, I held some Sauconys and some New Balance and stuff in hand, and they do. They hit different. They've taken the whole dad shoe vibe and they've thrown that out the window, and they're actually really putting some effort into these shoes. So, no, really good. Well,
So
I've
when am I
got
gonna see you with New Balance on feet?
when something really jumps out at me, like really, really jumps out at me. I wanted the
Cool.
what were they? The 500s. The
550s.
550s, yeah, sorry. I really, and I know they're a GR,
Yeah.
and they, as you said, they in previous podcasts, their GRs are pretty crap material, but I really wanted them
Yeah.
UNCs.
Yeah.
I really wanted them UNCs.
Ah.
They,
Yeah.
they hummed a little tune to me. So if I can get something along those lines to start off, I'll be happy. I'll be happy. Well,
Yeah. Cool.
I went through my three favourite pickups so far last week, and because I really haven't picked anything up, they haven't changed. But I do have a recent pickup, and I think this is pretty underrated. Personally, I like this silhouette. I've only got two other pairs of this. The Space Jams, I suppose you can call them, and the
Oh,
red, the blue and University blue and black ones. But it's the Jordan 9 in the chili red. So these came yesterday,
nice.
and I reckon these are really underrated. People don't like nines, and I don't understand why. They are so nice. But yeah, that was
Yeah.
my pickup, my first pickup for a little while actually. So anyway, mate, what we'll do,
That's good.
we'll jump into the body of the pod, which is
Yeah.
some Q&A. So first off,
Yep.
mate, if you'd like to introduce yourself, tell our audience just a little bit about yourself. Most people will know you, but for those that don't, take it away.
Hi, I'm Donald. Donald Martinez. You probably have. I'm hoping that you have listened to my podcast as well and follow me on Instagram, which is Oldmansneaks. I'm a fairly well. Again, I keep saying I'm a new collector, but I don't. Like you said, I don't qualify anymore. So
No, you definitely don't qualify as a new, mate.
So I've been collecting sneakers for a fair bit, and yeah, making new friends, and I'm loving the culture at the moment. Obviously, there are some sneaker habits that needs to be improved, but I think that's the whole point of having discussions and hanging out with fellow sneakerheads, so you can get different ideas, different perspective about the game and about the collecting of sneakers in general, really. So yeah,
Nice.
that's me.
Nice. Roughly, how many shoes do you reckon you'd have in your collection?
Ooh, Micah asked me that question as well. I've never counted them. I would say it's north of 100. The last time I was asked that question, it's going to be around 120, 150. I'm guessing it's going to be maybe 120 and below, to be honest, because I was just looking at my boxes and I've tried to get rid of a few pairs recently as well.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Yeah, nice. Once you start counting, mate, that's when you start thinking, "Oh crap! How much money have I actually spent? Did I really need those?
What have I done?
Need those? What have I done? There's a down payment on a new car."
Yeah. I think that's our. We shouldn't count because if we do, then well, it's a good thing. It's a positive thing to know how much you have and evaluate yourself about it.
Once you hit 100, don't count anymore. That's it.
Yeah.
No more counting.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. About 100, that's it.
Especially when you look at retails between 190 and 300, and you've hit 100.
Yeah. You start. Okay.
Do people comment, like friends and family? Do people comment on you buying shoes and the amount of money you spend on shoes, and why do you do this? I don't understand. What's the hype behind it? Like, do people make those comments to you? What's your reply to
that? Usually it's obviously the closest person to you, which is my wife. She makes some comments sometimes saying, how many have you gotten this week and how many more is coming in and don't you have enough? I mean, it's not something that we really argue about. It's more of a question. I think, and I understand it from her perspective, in terms of like where are we gonna store it, which is at this point in time, I'm sort of like hitting that wall, wherein I don't know where to put them anymore. Especially this past month, like I said, it's been a crazy month of pickups, and she's right. Like, obviously she's right. Like, because I don't have that massive display, or I don't have that dedicated room. I have 2 kids, and they have one playroom wherein I want all of those real estate for them, really. Yep. So I'm not the type of person that like I want my collection somewhere, sort of thing. Plus, I don't have the space. Like, if I do, then my wife would probably have no issues with me doing that. So it's mainly my wife asking me questions about that. And I think we've gotten to an agreement now wherein the amount of I should start to have sneakers coming out when I have a lot coming in as well. And try to balance maybe that limit. And also I have that I had Zach in one of the episodes, and he basically told me like that he was like that as well, and then he started molding his collection to be more of quality than quantity, and I've seen people does that. I've seen people that I admire in terms of collection, the type of collections that they have, and I want to start getting into that point. Yeah. It's still difficult because I haven't been in the game that long, so yeah. Hopefully I get there. Yeah. And with regards to my friends, basically it's just them commenting that they're ugly.
Uncultured swines. I think when you had me on your the first episode that I was a guest on your show, we spoke about it with the collecting side of things, and I said like back in I started collecting many moons ago, and then I had a big break in between when I had my two kids, and money wasn't tight, but you funneled those finances into other things rather than spending it on unnecessary things. And then I
Yeah.
sort of I hit it hard again, back in the 2014, 2015 stage. And then when the pandemic hit, like I said, I grabbed absolutely everything that dropped, everything that you could drop. I got the worst material lows. I got the worst material mids just because I wanted to get it. I had that rush of hype again, like the feeling of just I want to be back in this culture. I want to be back feeling what I felt so many years ago. And then I look back and I'm like I've been giving away pairs of shoes that I brought 3 years ago because they're just crap. They're GR mids, they're GR lows that are just absolutely crap. And now I've said to you, like I go back now and I will pick up 2 or 3 pairs that are released this year that I really want, but I'll go back and I'll pick up 2014 pairs, 2016 pairs, 2012 pairs. Like I just brought a pair of Laser 4s that dropped back in 2014, 2013, 2014, I think they were. So they should be here tomorrow with a bit of luck. Just older stuff like that just sings to me more than the new stuff does. Because of the same thing, I'm starting to scale back and get what I want rather than everything that drops just for the sake of getting everything that drops.
That's true. With me as well, that was those were the first one that went out, the mids and the lows, the crappy mids and lows.
Yeah. I haven't brought a pair of lows. Well, I tried to get the Travis Scott lows last year, and that was it. Like that's the last time I've gone for a pair of lows. The new what's the new blue ones? The blue and black ones that dropped last weekend. The lows. They came out with the.
The Mystic Blues, the Mystic Navies, I think.
Blues.
Mystic Navy.
Yeah, Mystic Navies, yeah. They're actually really nice. They're really nice, but they run really narrow in the toe box. You've got to go a half size up for them, and yeah, I don't know if I can go with those again, just for the sake of lows. I'm glad they've gone back to the OGs though. When it comes to lows, they're bringing out a lot more of the OG form. Yeah. So. Just going back on your introduction, mate. What's your story? Like, what got you into the shoe game?
Yeah, like I said before, I think I mentioned it in different occasions. I've always been into sneakers. I've always been around the peripheral of sneaker culture, if I might say. I do have a lot of sneakers before, but they're mainly GRs, mainly runners. Before I started collecting, like I'm an avid runner, so I usually have 5 pairs of runners that I rotate into every week. This is why as a side note, this is why I'm annoyed when sneakerheads try to review modern tech runners about the comfort and all of those things, because like I'm a bit of an elitist when it comes to that, because I'm an actual runner. So
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, and I've always been into sneakers, regardless of what they are. And then I've just gotten into the limited stuff. Like Jordans have always been around. I've always been into Jordan 1s and 3s and 4s. But I've never got into this stage wherein I'm actually chasing them, or I'm actually aware of drops and all of those things. I've never gotten into that in the past. I have picked up some Jordan 1s before because it's easy to pick them up back then. But I wasn't a collector. I pick it up because I'm aware of Jordan 1. I like Jordan 1s. And yeah, if I see them on the shelf, back then you can. But not a lot, really. Like, it's not like I'm chasing and I have this deep knowledge on the releases and the history and the stories behind those releases. I really didn't. I just know the silhouettes and I like them. I like to. I'm an aesthetics kind of person first, I guess. Like I like figuring out how to wear the sneakers. So that's the first thing that I usually go for.
Yep.
So yeah, that's and then the pandemic hits. I started reading up on it, getting into it, and then I joined that Sneakerhead Australia Facebook group. And then from there, basically, you start learning things. People started posting stuff, and then you're getting into it. Now you're building a little bit of FOMO, of like fear of missing out on the releases, getting into it, joining raffles, and then that led to the resale market, the resale platforms, StockX, and like my first question is like, why would I pay? Why would I pay for something over retail?
Yeah,
That was like my first thing back then, and before you know it, I was paying resale prices. So yeah, that's how I really got into it.
yeah, nice. Obviously, you say it yourself. You're a self-confessed newbie, but you're not. You're not. You've been around a little bit now. You know that you know the traps. You've got yourself a solid collection. I'd like to say behind you, but it's not. But you've got a solid collection. But what's the craziest thing that you've done just to secure a pair that you really, really wanted?
It's a good question, but it's a very hard question to answer for me. Like I said, I haven't been in it long enough, so I don't think I've gotten to a point where I'm chasing something that I have to sacrifice something to get it, or I have to go through a lot of hoops to get. So I don't think I have one. Like if you ask me, I don't think I've gotten to that point wherein I have that story wherein I did something crazy about a sneaker. Other than obviously paying an exorbitant amount for it, but there's no story behind it. I mean, there's nothing that would translate into something crazy. Other than, well, it's already crazy that we pay resale on some sneakers, but that's as far as I have in terms of experience, I guess.
Yep. Yeah. No. Obviously.
Well, maybe recently, like this month. No, sorry.
No, keep going, mate. You're right.
Oh yeah. So maybe the craziest thing is like this month, which is really horrible. I feel like I wanted to crawl into a hole because a couple of weeks ago, I think I purchased about 12 pairs in a span of a week. And then I said, I'm going to lay low. And then I'm going to stop copying things. And then I went out and copped like an additional 8 pairs. So in terms of like craziness, that's probably the craziest that I've been. And that's a mix of retail, raffle wins, and resell and bid wins as well. So
I see on your Instagram, well, not necessarily Instagram, but on Sneakerheads Australia, some of the stuff that you've picked up, you've passed on for retail assists to other people.
The
military
some of them were doubles.
The military Black 4s, like they're going for $500 and you handball them to one of our lucky members for retail. And mate, that doesn't honestly happen that much these days. And that's why with our group that we're in, it's amazing because everyone's got each other's back. So
yeah. Well, the thing is like, and the reason that's one of the reasons as well that I've had so many cops is because I've gotten so many assists as well. Like I've done so many raffles that I'm on a lose. I keep losing most of them, but I have this mate. Well, let's just name him, like kicking it with G, who's magical in terms of raffles. He keeps winning as well, doubles, and he keeps passing it on to me. So I can't say no to that.
It's like Zach. Zach, I'll enter one raffle, put one raffle entry in, and I'll hit. Like,
Yeah.
I can't hit a raffle unless I buy it for a bloody resale first.
Yeah, so that was that, and me assisting someone is nothing in terms of like me getting assisted a lot as well, because I've
Yeah,
I've
yeah,
been assisted with high value pairs or high resale value pairs,
yeah,
and
yeah,
being retail assisted with that, like the right thing to do is to do it to someone as well.
yeah.
So
Pass it along, of course, of course.
yeah, yeah.
What's the most you've ever paid for a single pair, and which pair is it?
That would be the Union's Storm Blue. That was north of 2 grand, and that was early on in my collection. The thing with that though is like it's funny that you asked that, because I'm thinking of letting that go now. And the reason being is it's not that I hate the shoes. I love it. But because you got it at that sort of like value, you're putting so much weight on the monetary value of it. Like
Yeah,
I don't want to wear it. I don't want to ruin it. Like I've worn it a couple of times, but I don't think that's a healthy sort of like outlook on it.
yeah.
It's good
It's
to have
not.
in a collection. It's good to have on a display, but that's not what I wanted. Like I unds every pair that I have, and I like wearing sneakers. And if I can't
Yeah,
wear them anymore because there's so much weight of value that I'm putting on it, then maybe I should exchange it to more sneakers that I know that I'm gonna wear.
yeah,
So
yeah. Well, look, mate. If you ever want to get rid of it for RA, I'm your man.
it will never be RA though, because I've never gotten it for retail.
Look, obviously, the sneaker culture is predominantly a male-dominated, culture. What are your thoughts on the ever-growing and emerging female sneakerheads that are coming through?
I think they've always been around. The problem is just because of the releases that don't cater for women's sizes is the issue. The reason I think why you're getting more female sneakerheads now is because there's wider range of releases in terms of like women's releases, the extended sizings, and all of that. So yeah, I I know I'm aware that they were around for a long time as well. Because I grew up like in the Philippines, right? Like sneakers is sort of like a luxury. Owning something is sort of like a social status kind of thing.
Yep.
And I know females that are into sneakers as much as males. So I know that they're probably not as open or as vocal as male sneakerheads, but yeah, they've always been around. It's just that they're getting more support nowadays, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. And like you said, there are a lot of women's releases dropping on your major silhouettes, like your ones, your threes, your fives, your fours. And the materials on them and just the actual colorways that they're coming out with, men are jumping for them because they're so good. They're really so good. They're putting a lot more emphasis into the women's releases of late than they do of men's. Like you just got to take the arm and year threes, like how
Yeah,
good they
yeah.
are. So
Well, from last year, I got the Seafoam, which is really good colorway of Jordan 1.
yeah,
But that's a women's release. I have the Jordan 4 Shimmer, which is the poor man's version of an off-white 4,
yeah,
the light peach one. So yeah, I've been, and obviously the Alma Manier 3s, just really good.
yeah, yeah. So obviously you do a lot of Instagram posts to do with sneakers, a lot of reels, and obviously your podcast itself. So this answer is pretty self answering. But does this lifestyle of being a sneakerhead affect you on a daily basis?
Why? Yeah, definitely. Yes. Um, the thing with that though is like I think I have a much healthier outlook on how I want to be perceived as a sneakerhead. Creating content on Instagram and doing podcasts is not. I know for a fact that that's not my source of living. It's not. It's not. It's not my source of income. It's not gonna feed me or anything. So I don't put too much pressure on myself in doing that. Obviously, it's a distraction on my day to day job. So I'm a I work in IT. I'm a programmer mainly. Well, basically. So yeah, I mean, being online all the time, peeking through Facebook and Instagram all the time, kind of gets distracting over time. But I don't like to see it as something that I would probably be spending that much effort. I mean, if it turns out into something great, if not, then I'm just happy doing it. Really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Without the influence of social media, how would you know that a shoe that you have in your hand is exclusive or limited?
That's a good question. Well, probably if it's a collaboration, that immediately means exclusivity to a certain extent. The GR, even with social media right now, GRs, you don't know how many are being produced.
Take
Like
the
even the
Rebellionaires.
yearly Jordan 11 release, the Rebellionaires, which is really a GR,
Yeah.
you just don't know. And the way they're priced on the resale market really is based on the amount of pairs released. So sometimes you're gonna be thinking something that's very limited, you're gonna chase it, but as it turns out, you're gonna get rebellionaire, which is you try and purchase it early and pay too much for it, but it's highly available. So
Yeah.
yeah,
With 8,000 released worldwide.
yeah. That's the thing. Like social media isn't helping anyway. I mean, we can tell based on collaborations and yeah, but that's pretty much it. In terms
Yeah.
of GR, we
What
don't really know.
you put Travis Scott's name on that and they would have sold out within seconds.
Yeah,
That's all it is. You put a name
definitely,
on it
definitely,
and they're
because
sold.
everyone will think they're limited. Yeah.
Yep. 100%. 100%. Have you given up anything significant just to grab that pair of shoes or go to a store where they're dropping? Have you missed out on anything significant in life just to pick up that one pair?
You mean a significant life event because of sneakers?
Yeah, yeah.
Um, mm, Not really. I don't think I've done anything like it. And I don't usually go in store. Like
Yeah.
I'm mainly a homebody, so if I can purchase online, I'll purchase online. Um, Missed out in terms of like releases. Maybe some pairs that weren't raffled, that were on a first come first serve
In store only and
basis.
stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, or online only, like that A6 HAL 1130, the Gel 1130 released a few months ago.
Yep.
I don't know why they didn't raffle that. It's highly limited. It was released midnight, and I didn't get a chance to get it. But that's pretty much it. But that's because I'm away as well, so I wasn't really trying hard. But now I can't. I'm not gonna pay resale for those because it's north of like 600 to 1,000 now. So
How do you find the new
yeah.
raffle system with a lot of places like the Run Fair and stuff like that? How are you finding it?
EQL is the new one, the Run Fair, right?
Yeah.
They're really good. I mean, I think the idea is really good in terms of like tracking um, your losses and then giving you a better chance moving forward. But I'm a firm believer that you should do pre-orders because like I really wanted pre-orders because the thing with that though is like people are saying that well they're not going to be as limited. Everyone's going to get them. Yeah, but there's a certain window as well wherein you have to pre-order it, and it doesn't mean that if that window's open, right, that you can pre-order, or you're capable of pre-ordering at that time, or you have the money to do the pre-order at that time.
Yeah.
And if you don't, then the resale market is still there. You can still go out and get them on the resale market, but at least give everyone that would wear the sneakers a chance to purchase them on retail. So
yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I'm not.
It's a hell of a lot better. It's a hell of a lot better than waking up at midnight trying to get a Foot Locker drop and getting that little camp out tent screen for 2.5 hours. So that's the new way of doing it. So much better.
Yeah, but the thing is, like that's the other thing. They don't want to invest on that. Like Foot Locker and New Balance. Like you tried New Balance a few months ago, right? And you were shocked on their queuing system. Wherein there's just no chance. You're not going to get a chance to purchase.
You were literally in line. Like there's no. You're in line for 11. You were in line. That's it. It was like being at Vic Roads again.
Yeah, well, but the problem with that is like you have 10,000 bots in front of you, so there's just no way for you of copying that sneakers. And companies, they're not going to invest on that because it's an expensive platform. And sometimes we forget that sneakerheads or sneaker culture is still niche, although it's a lot more popular now. It's still niche. Like it's like if you just look around your circle, your family. There's not a lot of us.
No, so, it's few and far between. And having that lull that I had for a few years in between, being avid on the collecting side again and whatnot, you really didn't see a lot of people. You'd see them walking around in a pair of Jordan 1s, but they were beaten up. They were, ratty and whatnot. They'd had them for years and years and years. You didn't see the person on the street walking around in a brand new pair every second day, where now it's starting to, whilst it is still a niche community, it's starting to expand a lot more and a lot more people are getting into it. Admittedly, it's thanks to resellers, and that's a really hard pill to swallow, but admittedly they're playing a big part of it. But it's starting to expand a lot.
Well, the releases are ridiculous now as well, from what I heard. Like a few years ago, you can rest for a month or two before a new drop happens. Nowadays, you get weekly drops of everything. Like you're lucky to, you know what I mean? Like to get a rest in a week wherein you're not interested in any of them. And for me, someone that's spread across all brands or a lot of brands, it's hard for me to keep up. So
you just got to look on the sneakers website, Nike sneakers, and they've got a drop every single day. So it's crazy.
Yeah.
It really is crazy.
Yeah. So,
mate, I'll get you just briefly to talk about your favorite pair that you have in your collection, and how you came to get that, how you came to get that pair, and how it became your favorite pair that you have.
Yep. It's a good question because I've actually taken that out because I got I got the wrong idea when you told me about that, the top 3 pickups that are not released. For me, and this is the only pair. It's the black cement 3s, basically. This is my favorite pair. Aside from it being the GOAT of sneakers, this is the only pair for me that actually has a genuine story. And I'm excited about that because, like I said, I came into it buying everything online, going through raffles and all of those things. And this was traded to me by, again, kicking it with G or Emmanuel. When I had him on the podcast as a guest, we were just talking about it. And I was saying like, I missed out on the GRs. I mean, the OGs. I wasn't around when the black cements were released. And then he mentioned that he had a spare one. And I happened to mention during that conversation as well, I happened to mention the Amamanier once, and he mentioned that he missed out on that, and basically came to an agreement. Why don't we do this? Why don't we trade the Amamanier ones for the Black Cement 3? And this is why I like this pair, because I'll always remember that moment wherein I'm talking to an OG sneakerhead, a legit sneakerhead, and we have this story together wherein we were just chatting, and it just so happened that he can help me out and I can help him out as well. And yeah, and it's not about the monetary value of it, because from both of our perspectives, it's value. Amamanier is valuable to him, and Black Cement is valuable to me. And
Yeah.
yeah, and they're both are as spare pairs for us. So it's not like we're trying to hold on to it to resell. It's something that we kind of have, and then we can help each other out getting what we wanted. So yeah,
Nice.
that's my favorite pair, because again, if I look at my boxes of sneakers, that's the only one wherein I have that kind of story, and that's what
Yeah.
it's all about, right? And that's what I missed out being a newish collector.
Yep.
So yeah, really happy with that one.
Yeah, nice. I've actually got a pair of those black cements that'll be rocking up at my house tomorrow, but unfortunately, they're not for me. They were purchased for someone else, and I'm going to reship them again. So I might get them, hold them in my hand, and then send them back out the door, unfortunately. But yeah, so no, they're a really nice pair, man. You've done well there. So, well, a couple more questions, mate. I won't hold you up too long tonight. But sneaker conventions. Obviously, we had one this year. You guys had one up in Sydney. Would
Yep.
that be something? Would that be something that you would stay frequenting as a patron, just to walk around and look around, meet people or whatnot? Or would you look at going down the lines of having a table and, maybe not selling things for stupidly overpriced, but doing the RA assists at a sneaker convention?
That's actually a good idea. First of all, like, you're not holding me that long. Like, I've held you longer than this on some of my episodes, so don't worry about it. In terms of going back to the question, the RA thing. Let's start with the RA thing. That would be nice. If I have a lot, I guess I would do that. But in saying that, though, I would probably need proof that someone's gonna wear it.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna RA something, and it's hard to RA someone really if you don't know them, because you don't know whether they're just gonna resell them or they're actually wearing them. The reason why I like the group is because if someone asks for an RA, then I'm looking for someone to vouch that person first before actually doing the RA. So in terms of like frequenting sneaker conventions, walking around, I like the event, but not a lot, because I think it's a bit of a letdown for me as well in terms of like the variety of sneakers that I saw on different tables.
The same.
Yeah, it's the same Dunks, it's the same Jordan ones, and it's the same release from the past 2 years. It's not exciting for me. I did manage to get that New Balance 991. Funnily enough, going back to it, from that event, from that convention,
the kickstand. Yep.
Yeah, and I don't know whether I fleeced that person or not, but he doesn't know what he has. He doesn't know the value of it. And when I asked him the price, my only mistake was trying to haggle it down, which made him research. If I didn't, I would have probably purchased it at a lower value.
Yeah.
But yeah. So yeah, that's one thing that I can take out of it. So that's another pair with some story attached to it, at least. But I don't know. I mean, it should be bigger. If we're doing it, I think it should be bigger. And I think it doesn't have to be just tables of sneakers that people are selling. I would want to have someone exhibit, if there's a way to do that, a big collector to exhibit their collection, show it
Yeah.
to the public at least. Show those sneakers in person, because that's the one thing that I liked when I went to that convention, is like holding the sneakers in hand rather than always looking at them through the monitors.
Yeah.
So yeah, if someone can do that, then that'll be really that's a really good event, right? And I've always thought about, like, if I wanted to run one, that's gonna be my main attraction, not the selling part. Because again, I think we've lost that a little bit. It's more about what's available for sale, what's available for trade, and what is someone wearing. You forgot the actual appreciation of the sneakers. So
We went into
yeah,
Sneaker Boy in Melbourne on Saturday, and we walked in and looked to our left, and there was a wall of J's from every year you could possibly think of. And
nice.
we were like flies to a flame. Like, it was unbelievable. We took off, and the shop assistant was like, "Oh, they're not for sale. They're the owner's displays. Like, they're all his personals." And we just sat there and we were in awe with some of the stuff, like the bin 13s, the bin 5s, just some of these shoes that you don't get to hold in your hand because they're
Yeah,
$4, $5, $6,000 shoes. They're just unbelievable. And yeah, I agree with you. Like, to have someone that could actually put on a display like that at one of these sneaker shows would be unbelievable. That would give the older sneakerheads a taste of years gone by, and it will give some education to some of the newer ones coming through, of things that, why a shoe is the way it is, why a certain silhouette is the way it is. This is the reason why. This is the reason why it's sitting here in your hand.
yeah. Build that appreciation, because I think
Yeah.
that's getting lost a little bit.
Yeah.
It's all getting muddled up with the resale and the hype and trying to
It's getting
pop as
lost
much
with
as you can.
it's getting lost with the amount of drops that we get every month.
Yeah,
That's what
yeah,
gets lost. You don't get that. Like, yeah, we love it. We thrive for a new pair. We thrive for that W, but it's not as it doesn't feel as good as if you've got to wait for a month for this next shoe to release. You're seeing it sitting on sneakers. It's dropping next month, and there's nothing else dropping up until then. You're counting down the days until this sneaker drops, and you get that W. Your excitement just goes through the roof, like you're a child on Christmas morning all over again. We don't get that
yeah,
feeling anymore because there's oh, we didn't get a W today. We'll probably get one tomorrow.
yeah. And even then, like, just one example, right, of the horrible copying habits that I've been getting into. The person that I assisted with the military Black 4, he basically asked me about it. What do I think about it? And I genuinely don't have an answer, because I keep getting new pairs that I forget about it. I don't have that time to sit down and appreciate that sneakers, because I have new ones coming in almost every day.
Yeah.
And it's not good. Like, I've noticed that's not the way you do it. I want to be able to sit down and absorb the purchase that I did, the sneakers that I have in hand more, before getting a new one.
Yeah.
I think that's what I'm gonna aim for moving forward. It's not good. It's really not good. It might look good on the outside, because I've seen it with other people as well, and I think that was cool. Like, that they people getting the sneakers every time, and they're copying multiple pairs a week. But in reality, now that I've gotten in the middle of it, it's not a good feeling. I've noticed. So you lose the appreciation. So yeah, yeah.
What's your thoughts on the fresh found sneaker hype that's hit us? And it is mainly because of the Last Dance documentary. But what's your take on it?
I think the thing with that is like you're getting people from with different reasons of getting into it. Really, I mean, I'm sure there are genuine sneakerheads that are getting into it because of that. There are new sneakerheads that are getting into that. Like, and you can just think about when we first got into it, right? You definitely have people coming in having that same sentiment or that same excitement about it. I think it's just getting lost now because of, again, I feel like there's more resellers than actual sneakerheads. Or there's more people in it that are just in it for the clout or for the hype of it. Um,
Yep.
I have built up a circle of friends, like including you guys that are genuine sneakerheads, which is really good. And I've sort of like encased myself in that rather than engaging with resellers. I don't really
Yep.
engage with resellers as much. I know a few, but it's not something that I want to be into because I don't want to get affected by how they think, and that I have nothing against that. It's just that we're in it for different reasons, and I'd rather hang out with people that I know that are in it for the same reasons as I do, which is really just appreciating the sneakers and wearing them. So
Yep.
yeah, I think it comes with good and bad, really.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the obviously the pandemic played a major part in the rise of the reseller. People lost their jobs. They had a little bit of savings. They were able to, they saw this trend of buying shoes and making, even if it's $50, it's $50 they can go towards your next shoe. And I think that's where a lot of it come through was the pandemic. Obviously, there were resellers around before that, but I only really noticed the explosion in 15-year-olds buying 14 pairs of shoes to sell off to make $50 per pair after or at the start of 2020. Yeah, that's just that's how I saw it. Like there was, as I said, there was always the reseller getting around, but they were mainly brick and mortar stores.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna last long, to be honest. I think it's you're either a really big reseller, and you're into the business of reselling. You can't be someone that's just in there for a bit or trying to buy or trying to guess which one will sell moving forward. I don't think that's a sustainable approach to it. I like you can see different behaviors between genuine resellers. You'll notice that young resellers would usually overpriced and try to screw you over every single time, and
Yeah,
you'll
for sure.
get like proper resellers that price it accordingly at least, and they know what the market value is and they know how to play around the market value of the sneakers. So I mean, hopefully it dies down a little bit and it kind of balances out between actual resellers and actual sneakerheads.
Yeah, yeah. What's your take on the sneaker frenzy here in Australia compared to the States? As in, like the average sneakerhead over here compared to the sneakerheads they have over in the US. So what's your thoughts on that? Do we stack up in
I
comparison?
mean, uh, pound for pound, I would say yes. In terms of the numbers of sneakerheads, probably no, purely because
Yep.
of our population here and the amount of drops that we get.
Yep.
I don't think there's, I mean, obviously, different regions have different tastes as well. I mean, sneakerhead culture really started in the US. It started with Jordan, really. And obviously, they have a different take on it. I heard that every Jordan in there almost sells out. Some still sits as well. Some still sit as well, but I think they're more into that because historically it's attached to their culture.
Yeah.
It is their culture to begin with. I'm not saying it isn't ours, but I mean we've adopted it, and the other regions have adopted it as well. But pound for pound, I don't think there's much difference anymore. I think the world is a lot smaller because of the internet. So
Oh, 100%. 100%. And it sort of comes down to adopting black culture with the NBA, with the rap scene and whatnot. That's all brought in full circle, all around shoes. You look in
Yeah,
the 80s, and very early 90s, with your Converse and whatnot, and it was all around your breakdancing, which made your Converse and stuff a big commodity of what they were. And then obviously in the late 80s, when Nike hit with the Jordan brand, that was all around the NBA. So yeah, your music, your breakdancing, your NBA, all that sort of stuff, all exploded the shoe culture to what we know it is today.
yeah, yeah.
So, all right, mate. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on. I'll ask you one more question, and it's probably the hardest question I've asked you for the night. So brace yourself and have a good think. Your house is on fire. You can grab one pair of shoes that you have in your collection right now. What pair are you grabbing to get out the door with?
Ah, black cement tree, basically. That's it for me. The story behind it, it's just it can be beat. Like again, I'm a new guy. All I do is purchase them online. Really, that's what I do, or win them in raffles.
Yeah.
But this one,
Yep.
the way that I've acquired it is different. So it's probably always going to be black symmetry until another pair comes with a better story than that. Then yeah, it's always going to be my number one.
And it's not a bad number one, mate. Not at all. Oldmansneaks, it's been a pleasure having you, mate. Is there anything you'd like to promote? Your Instagram, your podcast? Now's the time.
Thanks for having me first. Yeah, I've been waiting for your call, man. I've always wanted to return the favor because every time that I ask you whether you want to come on to my podcast, you always say yes. No hassle, no dramas, and I'm in debt in terms of that. So I mean, happy to return the favor. If you need me back on again, I'll be happy to come back on. If you need me with more people on, I'll be on as well, man. And
mate, this might be the last
yeah,
time.
I mean, keep going, man. And I think I just want to say, right, like in terms of the podcast, I don't think a lot of people know that you're the one who pretty much kickstarted again. I've already given up after 4 episodes, I think, and then you asking me about it and saying that you want to listen to it again, and you're looking for something to listen to, and if that's something that you've gotten accustomed to, like even just one person saying that is enough for me. And I've listened to your first episode in Spotify with Paolo and Glenn, and I've enjoyed it as much. I'm not just here to return the favor of being a guest, but also I'm gonna be a listener the same way that you have done it for me. So yeah, I mean, promotion wise, it's pretty much just Oldmansneaks. Just search Instagram and Spotify for my podcast and YouTube, but that's pretty much it. But this is about you now, man, and thank you for having me.
No, absolute pleasure, mate. And yeah, like I said the other week, it's every time I'm on your podcast, it's a learning experience. I learn different things, learn different ways of doing things, different ways of talking to people. So thank you for having me on yours, mate. Everyone out there, head over to Oldmansneaks podcast. Give him a like and a follow on YouTube. Follow him on Spotify. Head over to Instagram. It's Oldmansneaks on Instagram. He posts daily. His reels that he puts up are amazing. The bloke is an absolute genius when it comes to camera work and editing those photos, mate. So I've got one style. Let's put the camera down, wait for it, and then take the photo, and hopefully it turns out good, mate. Some of the stuff that you can do with reels and whatnot is amazing. So thank you once again for being my second guest and my first guest on YouTube. Till next time, see you later.
Cheers, guys.